All right, I'm live. What's going on, everyone? I wanted to give my perspective on this whole zombie unicorn thing. I think it would be, kind of good to have a female perspective. So let me get the chat open first so I can see you guys. And I'll probably read comments and stuff after I kind of give my piece. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Stream status is bad. Why is it bad? We live? Says it's bad. I don't know why. Says we are not receiving video data at a fresh enough rate. Well, I'm not showing no gameplay. So as long as you guys can hear me, we good, right? Live roast session. No, I don't know about that, but we're going to talk about it. Let me pop out the chat. Just want to give my perspective on all of this. I was going to make a video and I started talking about it. I started recording the commentary, but then as usual, I'm forgetting things. I didn't like how it was sounding. So going live is nice because it's like, hey, I said it. There's nothing I can do about it. Just it is what it is. I don't have to worry about editing or nothing. And then I can also get pretty lengthy with the conversation this way too, which is great. What's up, Budo? What's up, Dave? Ricky? Spida? Hope you guys are doing good. Let me tweet this out too, if I may. Yeah, how's your guys' Sunday going? What's good? What's new? E3 is over, of course, but we do have this, we're still talking about it because of this situation right here. All right, let me share. All right, the link is out, so see if some more people can come in here. I'm supposed to be on Weapon Wheel today, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this, but I still wanted to do like my own video and express my thoughts. So if you're lost and you have no idea who ZombiUnicorn is, I didn't either until this week. So you're not alone on that. But she's making some news because she was at E3. I guess she went because of her Twitch channel. I'm not sure. She is a Twitch streamer. Pretty popular from what I know. I mean, she's got the check mark on Twitter, so obviously, she's got a lot of people following and stuff like that. Actually, it says right here, 94,000 followers on Twitter. So yeah, people know her. And she was at E3. She was walking the floor, and she tweeted about booth babes. So I'm gonna read her tweet word for word, and so we could talk about it. So it says, why the F companies still out here sexually objectifying women as booth babes in 2019? What do booty shorts and bra tops have to do with energy drinks? Hashtag E3. Stop this cringy S already, FFS. This is embarrassing. So yeah, she tweeted that, and then she also did a video along with it. And of course, it got a lot of traction. People are responding. Even big YouTubers like Angry Joe responded, and I believe she blocked him, from what I understand. She blocked Rev. She blocked a lot of people who didn't agree with her. And the thing is, too, when people were responding, yes, some of them were a little personal. They were telling her she's jealous and things like that. But others, a lot of people were trying to reason with her and have her understand where maybe the girls are coming from, or just the fact that she's being kind of hypocritical. Actually, a lot of hypocritical, and we're going to talk about that. But guys like Angry Joe and even Rev, I thought, were very respectful for the most part. They did not come at her in an offensive way or anything like that. And yet she started blocking them. So it's one of those cases where if you're not 100% agreeing with her, even if you're respectful about it, she's just straight up not wanting to listen, and she's blocking. So yeah, it's one of those. And yeah, so where do we even start to unpack this? Where do we start? Let me look at the chat again. Who's up all in here? We got Eric, we got Jazzy, Caution, Burro, Unicorn. Hey, another unicorn. What's up, Unicorn? Male Sensitivity says Zombie has blocked him as well. Oof. So yeah, it's not, I guess, anything new for her to respond this way. Yeah, so where do we even start? For one thing, okay, her argument, at least from her counter arguments, because when people are coming at her saying these women were not forced, it's their choice, they took the job. A lot of people told her that, and Unicorn basically was like, well, that's not the problem. The problem is these companies are using sex to sell their product. Um, but what I'm thinking when I hear that, when I read her responses, I'm thinking, isn't that with everything? I mean, even when it's not sex and it's something else, if she truly thinks like, oh, well, this doesn't have anything to do with the energy drink or whatever product, I mean, that's everywhere. That's marketing 101. Really, what it is it's something to get your attention, whether it relates to the product or not. You can turn on the TV right now and see commercials that have nothing to do with the product, whether it's a sexual thing or not. Um, I mean, there's countless of times I've seen commercials and I'm like, what the heck is even happening? It'll be just so off the wall, just so not related to the product. And then at the end of it, it's like, yeah, go buy Doritos or go buy Pepsi, go get this cologne or perfume or whatever it is. Even earlier, me and Kenny were watching TV and there was this guy in a Speedo and it was a cologne commercial. So, I mean, this whole quote unquote sex sells thing, it goes for the men too. And it's really just something to get your attention. I'm sure Kenny would agree with me too. He went to school for marketing and he even and he knows about this whole situation with ZombiUnicorn. And he actually joked during that commercial saying, oh, look at them objectifying this man. I'm offended. And we laughed about it because it's just so silly. Just for one, even having that thought, like me, if I was at E3 personally, I would not be having this thought at all. If I saw the girls dancing, I would probably look over and say, what's going on over there? Like what product is that? Or is that a video game, booth? What is that? It would get my attention. And that's really what it's for. So yeah, just this whole idea of like, well, the product is not related to the advertisement. I mean, that's just marketing 101. It's something to get your attention. Yeah, Buro, I was gonna mention that too. Like he says, look at Carl's Jr.'s commercials. They're known for that. Yeah, remember the girl that would be eating the burger and she's like in a bikini and she's like rubbing the burger all over her body? Like that, this has been going on a long time. And I'm not trying to say one way or the other, like whether it's right or not. That's not really my argument. My argument is like, man, there's so many instances where the product just really has nothing to do with the actual advertisement, whether it's sex or not. This is just a marketing 101 kind of thing. So her argument there, you can easily counter. And then what else was she saying? She was saying something else. Oh, just about the product in general. It's an energy drink, right? I think it's called Bang energy drink. And then you have these girls dancing and there were also men dancing as well. She kind of failed to mention that. So convenient, right? But the guys were out there dancing too. And she was saying, this has nothing to do with the energy drink. But you could even argue that. You could say, well, they're out there using energy. They're dancing their asses off. They're probably tired, but they're still going because maybe they drank an energy drink. So it's like the whole thing in like just even if you take the basic objective approach, she doesn't have a case. She doesn't. That's before we even get into like sexism and women being objectified and things like that. If you just take it on the basis of like marketing, she loses. She's not even making a valid point. And that's something I noticed, because I know a lot of people are focusing on like her being a hypocrite, which we're going to talk about too. And that's very true. But like even just the basics, like the actual objective approach, if you take that, you could easily counter her arguments. So it's kind of crazy how like even that she can't even win. I would destroy her right now, but she won't want to listen. And that's the thing. And that's what bothers me so much when it comes to anything related to women, and because I am a woman, and when women take this approach of like the extreme where they just don't want to listen to the other side, they don't want to listen to reason, I feel it makes us look bad because we actually there's women and men and a lot of people who actually want equality, and we want uh obviously the same rights and all of that. But then when certain women or even men pick at things like this and they make it such a huge extreme and they project like it's their job, it's like it makes us look bad a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I always cringe when it comes to stuff like this because obviously that thought of like women being objectified would not go through my mind. If I was on that floor and I saw those girls, I would just be thinking, damn, they're making probably good money. If I even had a thought, let's just say I even thought anything, because most likely I would just keep on walking. But if I did have a thought, I would just be thinking, damn, they're doing their thing. Like, look at them go, you know? They look good. I think that's what I would honestly think. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy how, and goes with anything these days. In this culture that we're in, this climate, this social media that we're in, a lot of people just don't want to listen to anybody if they don't 100% agree. And it's something I can't get down with. I just can't. And we'll get more into that, I think, at the end of this, because we could take that to anything. It's not just this situation. We can take that to anything. But the whole hypocrite thing, let's talk about that, because she did make this statement. She's been, blocking people. She's been countering with her other ideas. And one of them is that, when people bring up her sexy pictures, which she has a lot of them, she takes a lot of posing pictures where she's like, she's got her butt sticking out, she's got cleavage going on, she's like posing and things like that. And then not only that, but on her Twitch streams, she does body painting. So she's basically naked from like the waist up. At least that's the pictures I've seen. I don't know if she's done like full body. I don't even know if you can, but she's done like where she's painting her breasts, and her breasts are clearly out. There's other streams where she's just streaming and she's got her cleavage out. She's got like a sexy outfit, stuff like that. So obviously people are going to come at her with like, wow, you're a hypocrite. You're over here trying to put down these women for doing their thing, but here you are on your Twitch channel looking all sexy and doing your thing, and you have the nerve to put these women down, or to put the company down, because she keeps focusing on the company, like, oh, you're using these women and blah, blah, blah. But then she goes on her Twitch streams and she's doing her thing like that. So, naturally people are calling her a hypocrite. And her response to this is that it's art. She called the body painting art. And then her sexy pictures, she said that she feels empowered. These are her words, her responses to the criticism of being a hypocrite. I feel empowered, and that's different. So you already know where I'm going with this. When it comes to the women dancing, how does ZombiUnicorn know that they don't feel the same way? For all we know, these girls are up there feeling beautiful. They're in control, which is obvious. They might be feeling empowered up there. They might be feeling like, wow, I'm at E3. I got a sweet gig. I'm having the time of my life. I'm making good money, all that. They might be feeling so empowered and beautiful up there for all she knows. So she's doing like really heavy projecting on these women that may or may not be true. She's making up a story in her mind. She's making up a narrative that these companies are using these women to sell a product. And that's it, that they're objectifying her, and that's them, and that's their goal. So she's really projecting her own ideas onto this. When in her words, when it came to her situation and what she was doing, oh, I'm empowered. That's different. It's like, well, how do you know that's different? You don't know what's going on through these women's minds. You don't know why they took this job. You don't know anything. So too, yeah, that she's losing across all these arguments, you guys, from the objective marketing 101 arguments to the to her personal stance on her pictures, and she's trying to project that it's different for these women. Those kinds of remarks, you can't say those. And then she even on top of that went further and said that most women agree. These are her words. She said most women agree with me, and that's just not true. I don't agree with you. I'm a woman. I'm saying it right now. I don't agree with you. I don't. So yeah, it's just a lot of hypocrisy going on. Not just the whole, her stance on her pictures versus them, but even just I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. There was another time where she's hypocritical too. Maybe you guys will remind me. Just this whole thing is hypocritical. But yeah, maybe I'll get my train of thought back. But I sort of lost it. Let me see what you guys are saying. Med says she's the same idiot behind the bully hunters disaster. Let's cease giving morons like this relevancy. See, that whole bully hunters thing, I'm not really sure on that stuff, like what that's about. Spencer says those dancers volunteered. Dave says, since when has girls dancing with clothes on especially been a bad thing? Music videos have them, commercials have them, they are accepted in everything. Also, they weren't even in thongs. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just all kinds of bad here. All kinds of bad. Her saying that all women or most women agree with this, when that's just such a bold statement that you cannot prove. And a lot of women have been responding to her saying, no, I don't. I don't agree. I'm a woman, count me down. It's just a lot of, women actually standing up to her, which is great. Who knows if she's blocking them or not. There's even videos of men dancing there as well. I'm looking at it right now. It's just the whole thing of like, when it comes to advertising and marketing, I mean, these women and men are going to get attention. And that's really what it comes down to. It gets attention on the product. And it actually could be related to the product. If you really thought about it, it's like, yeah, they're using energy, they're dancing. I mean, it'd be the same if they had people out there like running in place or working out on a treadmill or something like that, or whatever, playing video games. Oh, what does that have to do with video games? It keeps people up. It gives them energy. You can make that case with anything. You can make that case with her and her Twitch. What does body paint, or what does your body being out there have to do with Twitch or in video games and whatever else? I don't even know if she plays games. I mean, I'm assuming if she's at E3, but I don't watch her, so I'm not sure like what kind of content she has. But we could say the same thing, which would be silly, but that's just showing her own argument. What does your sexy pictures have to do with you and E3? What does that have to do with gaming? Because she's out there posing and showing off her body and everything at E3. I was like, wait a minute. What does that have to do with anything? Why can't we see you playing a video game for once? How about that? Nope, you don't want to do that? Okay. You're empowered? Okay, cool. Yeah, sure thing. You know what I mean? And I know BG made a video about this. I just watched it about an hour ago or so. He hit the nail on the head too. He pretty much said the same thing as me, as far as like, we don't know what these girls are feeling and what they think of themselves when they're doing this job, and what the companies think and how they're treating them and all of that. We don't know. So she's projecting her ideas onto something without any kind of proof or anything. And the thing about it that bothers me the most is like, if she did this tweet and that's honestly how she feels, okay, whatever. People are going to have their thoughts and opinions. I might not agree with them, but that's fine. The problem I have, and mostly the reason I even want to respond to this and make a video on this, is that when it comes to criticism, and I already kind of touched on this, even when it's respectful, she just does not want to hear it. She's blocking people. She's calling them sexist. I've noticed that when men specifically have disagreed with her, even if it's in a polite way, she just writes them off as sexist. It's like you can't even disagree without being this extreme sexist, and that's just wrong. I've always hated when people do this, whether it's about sexism or something else, when you put that label on somebody just because they don't agree with one thing and you want to immediately call them a sexist, that's just wrong. I've always felt like this. What's up, Merc? Portal? How's everyone doing? See what you guys are saying. Sir Matsalot says another Anita Sarkeesian. That's a whole other topic. She's been going a bit strong too. I don't know if it's like because E3's in the air and there's a lot of because they get to attend and they get to do these tweets and stuff and it makes them kind of relevant again or something like that. Like I don't know if it's just the E3 season. I feel like Anita she pops up a lot during E3. I feel like every year it's like, oh, here comes another Anita tweet. This is making its rounds, It seems like it's just that time of year that it's going strong with some of these girls. And now we have this ZombiUnicorn who I've never even heard of before this. And now she's a topic, she's a thing. And so I just kind of wanted to get my opinion out there that her response, even though her original tweet's a bad take, but her responses are even worse. I just feel like she could handle it way better. I understand you want to block people who are being offensive or they want to like talk about maybe your looks or something like that, take it off topic, fine. They want to harass you, yeah, fine, block them. But when it comes to people who actually have an opinion that's trying to reason with you and show you the other side and kind of just talk to you like an adult that's respectful and polite, when now you're blocking them, it's like you just want to remain in this echo chamber. And that's really, I think, the problem with social media in general and just this climate. I mean, in real life, I don't see this a whole lot, but online, it's just a lot of like trying to remain in your echo chamber and you just don't want to hear the other side. And when you do, you just write them off as sexist. You write them off like nothing else matters and their opinion, you didn't even listen. So that's my problem with it when it comes to all this stuff. Frogs, what's up? He says she should have checked herself. Extremely hypocritical. Jazzy says, yeah, just no self-awareness. And then how she tried to play it off like, oh, well, I'm just empowered. It's different. Like, no. I mean, true, that might be true. Cool. But that doesn't, you should obviously think of those instances before you start criticizing someone else. And maybe, you know what I mean? It just doesn't register well with people. They're going to notice right away. That's hypocrisy. You can't be doing that. But yeah, thanks you guys for like just chilling here. What's up, Elect Jack? Who else we got here? 000 says she's sexualizing wholesome game characters. I don't know who you're talking about there. Harvinder, what's up? I used to have a friend named Harvinder in high school. What else? Yeah, a lot of you here. Y2J, what's up? Alton, what's good? Erica gonna do shots when that happens? What do you mean? When I do what? Or when what happens? She's a predator, Hustle says. Yeah, Anita's been the same way too. Like if you're a man especially and you just don't agree, she'll just straight up block you. And it's like you could be the most polite, the most reasonable male and they'll still block you. And it just makes me cringe. And that's the thing too, like I kind of wanted to end with this, is that when it comes to online and people are just so quick to just write you off if you don't agree. You get blocked, you get called sexist, all these other, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, I hate it. I hate it. But that's the kind of climate we're in right now. It's like you're either far on the left side or far on the right side. And I don't even just mean politics. I mean like with everything. I mean, even when it comes to gaming, there's times like, you guys know how it goes. It's so petty and meaningless. But like if you credit a company like Nintendo or something, oh, you're a fangirl, you're sucking Nintendo off, and then you criticize them the next day, oh, you're a hater. Just take that mentality and take it onto more important topics like sexism and things like that, objectification and everything. It's the same mentality. It's like you're one or the other. You're with me or you're against me. And that's it. There's no in between. There's no gray area. It's just black and white, and that's it. If you're not with me, you're blocked. And it's a sad way to have discourse with people. Like, it's not healthy. I've been like kind of looking into this stuff. I'm always interested in how people interact and what makes us tick and what drives us to be the way we are. So I'm always curious where people are coming from. Even if I don't agree with them, like if I really don't agree, I'm always curious why they come from that position and what gives them that opinion. So I'm never really going to be the type that's like, well, if you don't agree with me, then you're not my friend or whatever. That's just silly to me. I just don't understand if this is like a new age thing or like it's just the mentality the internet spreads to people or something like that. Like, I really don't know where that comes from, but it's kind of sad to me. And I've actually been criticized for being friends with certain people because of their opinions. Like Solid Rev, for example. I know he won't mind me using him as an example. I've had people actually tell me and ask me, why are you friends with Rev? You know he's sexist, right? Things like that. And if I'm even on his podcast, which I'm really shocked I haven't got any comments from because I was just on his podcast on Wednesday. But I remember I was on his podcast in the past, and I had people ask me, like, why were you on there? Like, and I don't like that, because it's like, for one, you're associating me with his opinions. Those are his opinions, and we don't always agree. But my whole thing is, like, I like to understand those opinions, like where he's coming from. And a lot of people don't like to do that. They'll just block. They'll just say, no, he's sexist. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to know him. He's a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. But when you actually ask him or you actually understand where he's coming from, you'll realize, like, oh, okay, he's not so bad. You know what I mean? So I've always wanted to be that person to understand where they're coming from. And especially as a woman, in some of these situations with men and how, where they're coming from and all of that. And then another thing too is, let's say I was like that. Let's say I was super sensitive and I was just like, oh, if there's any kind of sexist comment, I'm going to block them or whatever. Let's just pretend. In my mind, I would just be thinking, I'm proving them right. Right? I mean, if you really think about it, like if someone is saying women are too sensitive about this topic, let's just make up a topic and make it up in your mind or something. Like, oh, women, they're just so sensitive. They want to call me sexist right away, and they're not listening to me. And let's say I come along and I see it and I'm like, nope, you're blocked. What does that do? It proves them right? I mean, at least in my mind, I would feel that way. I would feel like, man, I'm just proving them right, or I'm just proving I am sensitive or whatever. So I guess I like to come from the opposite and kind of prove that, listen, we're not all like that. We like to listen. We actually can have a proper, healthy discourse about this. And I'm not going to run off, sensitive because you said something. I don't know. I guess I just like to see the other side of things. And that's just one example. I'm not even getting into specifics, but I've had that before too. Like, it doesn't even have to involve another person. I've had people tell me, like, Erica, shouldn't you be offended about this? Like something gaming related, because there's no woman protagonist or something like that, or whatever reason, something about women. I've had people actually criticize me and tell me that I should be offended. I'm just like, well, who are you to tell me that? For one, because most of the time they're not even a woman themselves. So it's a whole thing. I mean, we can get into different tangents about this and like take this to, because it's a whole conversation we could have with a lot of this stuff. But I've had those situations where it's like, I'm criticized because I'm not offended. And we're just living in that kind of time, I think, where people project and they just try and assume and try and put me in this place of like, well, you're a woman, so why don't you want more women in video games? Or why don't you want to be represented, Erica? Like, what's wrong with you? So I don't know. It's a crazy, interesting thing. I think it's to be a woman in this climate is very interesting, for the lack of better terms. It's like a gift and a curse. I would say it's kind of weird. What are you guys saying? What's up, Paladin? Paladin says Erica didn't wish me a happy birthday last year. Rage, lol. The rage. If I got upset over, wait, what? Over every video game not having Latino characters or protagonists, it wouldn't be able to enjoy video games or most things. That's what Burro says. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm in the camp of like not even thinking about this stuff. And then when I see people talking about it, then it makes me realize, oh, okay, this is a thing. You know what I mean? Like I played video games my whole life, and I could honestly say I've never had that thought of like, well, how come this character's not female? I really want this character to be female. I know this is a whole other topic or whatever, but it's related, you know. I've just always been that way. I play the game for what it is. And that's that. Like if it's a male character, female character, like in the past, you know, I played Metroid and other games where there's actual female characters, you know, and I just never thought of it like this would be worse if it was a man, or or I played a game with a male character and thought, I really wish there was a female because I would enjoy it more. Like, no, I've never thought that. So growing up like that, and then now I'm an adult and I'm seeing these kinds of opinions, and they're trying to force these opinions on women and to make us understand, like, see, Erica, this is a problem, Erica. You need to back us up and like, you know, get in on this war. And I'm just like, no, I really, no, I don't think about things like that. What's up, Ultra? What's going on? Ultra, how you feel about all this? How do you feel about ZombiUnicorn? Brian, what's up? He says, did you hear about the guy asking Marcus from Gears of War about Kate being the main character? And he responded perfect, I think. You mean the voice actors? I didn't see that. Yeah. Gears is one of those games where people try and bring up like they're forcing a woman. I don't agree with that, because she is perfect, I think. Out of those characters, okay, let's be specific here. If I had it my way, you know, this would be like a prequel, all right? But now we are where we are. We got JD, we got Dell, his boring ass, and JD's boring ass, and then we have Kate. She was the best out of those characters, in my opinion. She had the most promise. Her background, maybe they kind of shoehorned that in. You could make the argument for that, I guess. But because that is her background, I think it's perfectly fine for them to take the story in this way. And if it can cause tension between her and the other cog, specifically JD, who I don't like, I think it's fine. I think it works really well. And we'll see how they execute it, though. I'm a little worried. And if you guys haven't seen my Gears video yet about their poor showing at E3, go watch it, because I do say in there that I'm now a little bit worried because they did not show any campaign. It could be super predictable or something like that, or it could just be bad. But I really am keeping hope. But as far as her and her being the main protagonist, I think it's fine. I don't feel like it's shoehorned or anything like that. Yet. Let me throw that in there. Yet. Because how they execute things, and if they try and like, you know, that's a whole other topic though. Because you guys know me, like when it comes to them shoehorning things and throwing women a bone, I am not the biggest fan. As I just said, I grew up not even thinking about stuff like this. So when it's kind of forced down my throat, like, look, Erica, you could be a girl, right? Cool, right? You good? And it's like, you didn't need to tell me that. You need just do it. Just do it. You don't need to like, you don't need to sell me on it. You don't need to throw me a bone. Just, you know, make something that's natural, make something that makes sense. And if those characters make sense, then cool. I'm all for it. Like, yeah, that's just my stance on it. Michael says, Erica, how excited are you for Elden Ring? I need to see more. I need to see a release window at least. Tell me 2020. I'll start getting excited. But if there's no release window, or I have no idea what this game is even about, besides it kind of being Souls-ish, Yeah, I'm excited to play more of that, but you know, and I do like From Software, but I do want to see more. All right, Paladin, have a good one. Erica never looked at Link and thought he should be a girl. Never. And the thing, I remember Anita talking about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and saying how it's a whole another damsel in distress. Oh, poor Zelda. Link has to save Zelda. I was like, man, really? You did not even play the game, for one. I made a video about this. I'm pretty sure I did, where I was pretty much telling her she's full of it, because Zelda, of all the games to make this case, Zelda is a really bad example, because Zelda actually helps. Even in Ocarina of Time, we're going back to like 1998. She helps Link and she fights, and she's got some power to her. So it's like the worst example. And for her to bring up Breath of the Wild, where again Zelda actually helps, yeah, you didn't play the game, you're exposed. So yeah, I've done a video about that too. Erica, were we able to play as Zelda? So was that what you're trying to make? You trying to play devil's advocate or what? Wait, Erica was turking at E3. What? Random, you trolling. What's up, Roxas? Linkle would be cute though. Brent says. J-Run, what's good? Roxas says ready for WWP. Yeah, I gotta save my voice for that too. So I'm not gonna make this too long. I think maybe another 5-10 minutes and we'll be out of here. Anita doesn't play games, Boodle says. Sorry if I missed any like messages at the beginning. I was just sort of in my zone. And I had some trains of thought I didn't even get to, because I don't know. I would think I was looking at the chat. That happens sometimes, but it's all good. I think I got most of my points out there. This whole thing is silly. It's just another case of projecting, another case of the extremes being thrown on men specifically. It just bothers me. I don't like that. Because I imagine, you know, if I was having a conversation with this chick and we were talking about this, and let's say my husband was there and he gives his opinion. I mean, if this was equivalent to social media, she would just be like, I don't want to talk to you no more. You're sexist. That's really what she would do. If we made this real life. But of course, Twitter, you can hide behind a screen, and that probably wouldn't happen in the real, but it just goes to show like how silly it is. And I understand there's probably some people harassing her, maybe really going in on her. Sure, go ahead and block those people. But the ones that are actually coming at you in a respectful way and just wanting to give you the other side, to just write them off as sexist and stay in your echo chamber, that's where I have an issue. That's where I cannot get down with that at all. I can't get down with most of it, what she's doing. But I'm just saying, the harassers I could understand. Yeah, get rid of them. If they're coming at you, they're trying to threaten you or something like that, of course, get them out of here. But I've seen these guys and girls coming at her in a respectful way, and she just does not want to hear it. So my whole thing is like, Matt's a lot, stop it. My whole thing is like, hey, you put your opinion out there, it's out there for the public, and they have the right to respond to you. There's times I tweet something and a lot of people don't agree with me, or they'll harass me on it or whatever. I mean, I say yikes. I said yikes in one tweet, and I had people coming at me, but you have to stand your ground. If that's what your opinion was, if you said yikes, you gotta you gotta get in there. But of course, when people start to harass, which did happen to me, you know, then the block button becomes appealing, because yeah, these guys don't want to have whatchamacallit, like a healthy argument. They just want to destroy you, or like what's the best way to say it? I guess they take it off topic, they make it more personal. Yeah, ignore those people, block them if you have to. But if they're on topic, if you're having a healthy, or trying to have a healthy argument, why run with tail between your legs and just block? You know, that's kind of where I'm coming from. The legendary yikes facts. Shiburo says, shout out to Anita for saying help women, but I don't see her helping women of color. What a fraud. Yeah. You already know how some of this goes. Same thing with, oh, maybe that's the point I wanted to make with ZombiUnicorn. How she basically puts herself out there as like, I want women to be empowered, which is a good, that's a good message. It's fine. I feel the same way. Hey, we should all be empowered. But she comes out here with this message of like, women should do what they want to do. Women should have no boundaries and be empowered in everything they do. But then you turn around to put down these other women who are doing what they want to do. And you're writing it off as, no, they're being exploited. They're being sexually objectified, and just stopping it right there. You're not living by your own words and your own what you preach. So the hypocrisy is on so many levels with this whole thing. It's about her responses to this whole thing, how she took her situation and said, I'm empowered, but then, oh, these other women, nah, I'm not even going to think that about them. Nope, they're being objectified, and that's that. The projecting that's going on there, just total hypocrisy. So that's all I wanted to say. I don't agree with this girl. She needs to just, chill out, maybe try and have an open mind. Not everybody who disagrees with you is sexist. All right. There are sexist people out there, but when people are actually coming at you with a respectful take, come on. You don't need to write them off as sexist. And I've seen so much of that. And she's so proud of it. Like, another sexist blocked. Oh, be proud of me, kind of thing. And I spent all day dealing with these sexist men. It's like, come on. It's like she's proud of it, and she keeps throwing it out there and putting these men down and just grouping them together when they didn't even come off as sexist. I've seen so many of the replies, and they're very respectful. And then she'll just retweet it like, oh, here's another sexist coming at me. It's like, come on, man. It's so cringy. It's like, come on, you can't do that. And then she'll turn around and complain, oh, they're just calling me a thought streamer. They're just grouping me into a category. Well, you're grouping all these men into categories. Like, come on, like you can't. It's just the lack of self-awareness. That's one of my pet peeves, I guess. And just in general, I think of myself as a very self-aware person. I could get it wrong sometimes. Hey, we're not perfect, but I always strive to just, even when I don't want to, it's almost like a curse too, because I'm too self-aware at times. But I always kind of think about like how I'm going to make people feel like with what I say and things like that. So when it's a total lack of self-awareness with people, it just like, I immediately spot it, and I'll try and get them to see themselves and understand. But at times they just won't do it. And I think she's one of those cases. That's why I didn't even bother. I was like, I'm not even going to bother talking to this girl, because I've seen what she's been, doing and how she's responding. And she's just one of those that just wants to stay in the echo chamber. So it is what it is. And I saw you got your point of view across. We need more realistic people like you, letting us know that not all women are like her. Yeah, it's like, and I'm not trying to be one of those annoying women either that are like, look, I love men and I'm the best, and I am the total opposite. Like, I'm just being real. Like, I'm not trying to like be like what's the word? I can't think of the word right now. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to put on this persona of like the total opposite. Let me make this video so I could be cool or nothing. Like, no, this is just me being real. Like, I totally cringe with stuff like this. And I don't talk about it a lot. And maybe, and honestly, maybe these opinions are probably the reason why, I don't have a lot of women following me. And sometimes I do feel like, well, maybe I'm just too much one of the guys or something. Like, I've always been like that my whole life. That's a whole other topic. But sometimes, when growing up, I used to think girls didn't like me because I was like one of the guys, or I got along with men really well. And I've even had friends kind of like confide in me, like they would be kind of jealous because like I would be able to talk to guys just about like sports and like gaming and stuff like that. The hobbies I had, guys had the same hobbies and stuff like that. So I don't even know where I'm going with this, but because like my whole life I've kind of always felt like that. So it's just who I am. I'm not trying to put it out there like it's fake or like, oh, I want to take the other side because this will get views or something. Like, no, this is honestly how I feel. And it bugs me. I hate seeing these situations as a woman because, like I said, it does make us look bad sometimes. And I just wish these women would be more reasonable and understand that not all men are sexist and coming at you just because they disagree. It's perfectly fine to disagree with a male without feeling they're sexist. Honestly, and that could just be, maybe I'm in a different situation because I grew up around a lot of men and me and my dad were really close. So I've always had conversations with men that were pretty deep at times, and just seeing where they come from, I think is just so interesting. I've always been like that. And so, yeah, when it comes to guys on here and you guys watching, I'm not so quick to write you off. That's kind of where I'm coming from. Like, if you got an opinion about women, hey, sometimes I might agree with you. I honestly might, because we're not perfect. And you guys would probably feel the same way about men. If something comes up about men, you might agree with that. It's just, we all come from different perspectives. And so it's kind of cool to give mine on here, and so you guys have like another woman's perspective on this. Spencer says, make female gamers great again. Erica saying she's a player. No, not even. I'm not saying that. But that's just kind of where I'm coming from. And sometimes I do think a lot of women won't agree with me on stuff. But it is what it is. That's just how I am. Like, especially if it comes to the women in games and like being... I'm having a brain fart right now. You guys know what I'm talking about. On Weapon Wheel today, I'm going to be like, huh? What are we talking about? Oh, I talked about that for an hour. Shoot, what do I say now? Yeah, but that's all I really got to say, I guess. Erica letting all the guys know she listens. Facts. Matsalot says, you write me off all the time. Because Matsalot, you're a jerk. You troll me all the time. No, but I think the lesson here, and we'll end with this, no matter what issue it is, I don't care if it's like politics or I don't touch politics, but that's kind of the one everybody brings up because there's so like a left and right? Whatever, I'm not going to comment on that, but that is one area. Then you got gaming, you got issues with women, men, just anything you can really think of to where arguments can be had. My advice is just listen. If when you listen, sometimes you actually learn. You might have an idea of something, and then you hear something from the other side, and you're like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. I get it. We can still be friends. We don't have to disagree and never talk to each other again. It's perfectly healthy to have those conversations and to see the other side. Put yourself in their shoes. Of course, you're going to have extremes, and you don't necessarily have to talk to those people. But when it comes to like their perspective and where they're coming from, and if it's a respectful way, and if they're taking into account your feelings and they're just being friendly about it, I see nothing wrong with just, hearing their side, and you don't have to agree with it. It's perfectly fine. It goes with everything. It's not just this. It's not just gaming. But I think that's like a good way of thinking about it, I guess. That's what I try and do. So anyways, Turbok, Matzla, Dave says he's in a tornado. Dreamcast is in a tornado right now? Dreamcast guy? Like literally in a tornado? And yeah, I'm going to be on Weapon Wheel. It's supposed to be girls' night again. I know last time we weren't able to because the hangouts weren't working or whatever. But they're working for me. It's on right now. So I guess, it should work today. Jay Gott says, I know I'm late, but I know that zombie chick is such a hypocrite for saying what she said, knowing that she has done in the past, as if the internet forgets. Yeah, the internet never forgets. Never does. She basically got that attitude, if you're not with me 100%, you're blocked. Exactly. Exactly. So I know a lot of you guys, you agree. You're pretty level-headed. Prodigy says, Erica, you're speaking against her because the male patriarchy has brainwashed you over the years. That's what women like her say. Brainwashed. That's what it. You never know. They might think that it's a man's world. You just learn to live in it or something like that. It's a man's world. My dad used to tell me that. I even had my uncles, like I had an uncle tell me that too. Like it is a man's world. Cause that's the truth. That's what I appreciate about my dad and like my upbringing. They didn't say it like in a how do I put it? We get it more personal right now. They didn't say it in a way to like put me down. It was just like more of like matter of fact. Like, hey, it's a man's world. This is how it is. And this is what you got to be prepared for. Like I legit had like conversations like that when I was like a teenager. So that doesn't mean men are better or nothing like that. He never said it like that. He never said, you know, you need to obey men all the time or nothing like that. He even told me when I got married, like you and Kenny are a team. He told me that. So, you know, I've just had those kinds of opinions shape me as a youth, and then, you know, going into an adulthood. I think that's what kind of drives my opinions now, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Never mind that we got AD to the Lakers. Hey, yeah. The Lakers are relevant again. Shoot. When Erica was a teenager, I was in diapers. Oh man, we're out of here. But you just made me sad now because I'm so old. No, you guys, but thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. I love having these conversations. Like I'm so interested in this kind of stuff. So anytime I get a chance to talk about where I'm coming from on these situations and like what I observe and how society works and like what makes us tick, it's just so interesting to me. And I always like to take opportunities to talk about this stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let me know what you think of this in the comment section if you're watching later. I would say ignore ZombiUnicorn. You don't have to go fight the good fight against her because she's just going to block you. People in their echo chambers don't want to listen, and that's the problem. And I wish, you know, maybe the best we could do is just be an example of what it's like to not be like that. Maybe that'll spread. And maybe that's my purpose here, is to spread that mentality to where, hey, we can agree to disagree. We'll just leave it as that. We'll leave it as that. But all right, you guys, have a good one. If you watch Weapon Wheel later, I will be there. Girls' night tonight. I'm sure we'll talk about this. It'd be interesting to hear everybody's opinion as well. Boro, shut your mouth. We out. Bye, guys.